Okay, you guys, so I always have these big plans for videos and I focus on planning them to the point where I never actually make them. So I wanted to just talk to you guys about my first interview for a nursing position. It's a nurse residency. A lot of the hospitals here in the Metroplex do nurse residencies, or they might call it a nurse internship. So I had my first interview for that, and I'm still shaking, which is probably why the camera's shaking. But I don't have anything to prop it up right now, and I really can't move because I'm exhausted. Anywho, so I had an interview with an ER. They are a level 1 trauma ER, which is my absolute dream. So how this process worked, where there are a bunch of different locations for this specific healthcare group or healthcare system, and they were all there. There were about 300 students in attendance, and you RSVP'd for the event, and you got to put in your preferences of where you wanted to interview at. So they sent you a confirmation email with, hopefully they were able to get you into your choice because there's so many people and it's more of a first come first serve. And I got my first choice at my first location, and I chose this location because it is a trauma 1 hospital. So I was really excited. And sitting in so they gave us a 15-minute interview block time, which when you think about it, a minute is walking in, 2 minutes is introducing yourself, a minute is them talking about themselves. So you got 10 minutes to impress this person. And I really kind of messed up. I kind of botched it, honestly. They asked all of the standard questions, and I didn't think that I was nervous until I sat down in the chair. I was walking in. I realized it was a room of people, and they were all different departments or specialties, and my person was sitting straight ahead as soon as you walked into the door. It's one person. Didn't think I liked panel interviews until just now. But as soon as I saw manager on his name tag, I think I started freaking out. So I was walking up. Before, I was so focused on how I was walking and giving a firm handshake that when I sat my person in the chair next to me, I didn't even grab the resume and cover letter out of my purse. So I sat down, I was like, "Hi, I'm Leslie, nice to meet you." And I don't know why it threw me off, but he said, "Nice to see you." Nice to see you? Are we meeting? I don't know. But I get in my head like that, so who knows what was even actually going on. But so I handed him my resume and cover letter. He opened it, started going through it and stuff. And just the general questions, tell me about yourself. So once I figure out how to answer that question, I will let you guys know. But right now I kind of said, I was so nervous. I think I was my name's Leslie. I am a nursing student at this school. I'm getting my BSN. I graduate in April of 2020. I currently work in the emergency room. Before working in the emergency room, I lived in St. Louis for a while. I did some EMT training. I worked as a tech. I started off as a scribe in the ER. So I feel like he might have been able to tell that I was nervous and rambly because I went from what I do now to what I did in the middle to what I did at the beginning, and then back to the middle, and I was all over the place. So it's okay, woosah, you got this, chill out. But then he asked me a couple patient scenario questions of who do you see first, in ER triage. Then the question that I botched. So where I live, there's different, the healthcare systems that are really good or have a reputation, you might say. Everyone knows about them. The nursing world is small, so they know if you're leaving one healthcare system for another, that there's a reason. I never thought about answering the question of why I wanted to leave my current hospital system when I'm in a position that I already want to be in. So that's where I absolutely failed. I started my sentence maybe 10 times, and then it was like an out-of-body experience. I was looking at myself like, what are you doing? Then I didn't even realize, like, what was even going on? And I was like, what's going on? And then I kind of stepped back, and he was like, well, why not this system? And I was like, ooh, well, the way that this happens, or the way that this happens, or the way that these things are handled, or the way they do patient care. And I literally had to stop. I was like, you're talking, you have no idea what you're saying. I stopped. I'm shaking at this point. I'm like, wow, I messed it up. I'm rambling, realized I was rambling, saw his face. He knew I was rambling. Then I was like, okay, now I messed this up and I can't even think straight anymore, ever. I hope this is over. I was like, okay. So I kind of sat up straight and I was like, okay, I'm sorry. He's like, okay, it's fine. Stop, think about it, and answer. So I came up with an answer that I wasn't really proud of, but it kind of put on my heart to think about how to answer that question and answer it in a way that you are not bashing where you're leaving, but at the same time, you don't want to outwardly say, I'm applying for every single ER position that I can find. And then I didn't want it to sound too negative about where I work, because I love the people that I work with. I love the healthcare system that I work with. However, I do want to work at a level 1 trauma center, and the truth is that I am applying to all level 1 trauma centers. I'm applying to all level 2 trauma centers, and even level 3 trauma centers, because where I work right now, we're not trauma certified. We are stroke certified, but we are not trauma certified. So coming up with an answer that doesn't make it sound like this one place is so bad, but also not like I'm keeping all of my options open, because I don't want them to think that, hey, you're just one of 20 interviews that I have, but also not like snobby of, I'm only going to work for a level 1 hospital. Like, why not anything else? So when I come up with that answer, I will let you guys know. Something else that they asked, ooh, I should have wrote these down. So we started with my botching of who am I? Why is that the hardest question to answer? Then that one, the patient scenario, why ER? So that is something that I said that throughout all of my experiences, working in pre-hospital care, working on a floor, I worked on a med-surg floor, and then working in the ER, I found myself in pre-hospital care that I wanted more. I wanted to spend more time with my patients. I found on the floor that I really liked spending more time with my patients, but I wanted to be a part of the critical, on-the-dime decision-making that challenges me. I wanted to be a part of the critical, on-the-dime, like, on-the-spot decision-making that challenges me, but also being confident that I'm going through a program that will train me to do those things correctly and to the best of my abilities. So I think that my why ER question can use a lot of work also. And then you always ask questions at the end. So I asked, what, like, new innovative practices are you guys coming up with, or what evidence-based practice models are you guys implementing? Boom. Like, what new practices are you guys implementing? And he's like, well, we're implementing these all the time. He's like, we have the fastest TPA administration time in North Texas. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, we handle patients from this highway all the way up to Oklahoma. And I'm like, oh, cool. We have this many air flights and we have this many ambulances a month. I'm like, I like that. So I think that at the end of it, he was like, you know what you're talking about. It's like, but at the same time, you need to learn to be confident and sell yourself. I don't talk about myself like in my normal day-to-day life, and I think in situations like this, it really shows. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say about myself, so we end up talking about the weather. My goal is to come up with a kick-ass elevator speech. So that's the tell me about yourself. Imagine that you're walking into an elevator with the chief nursing officer of this hospital and it's like, man, I really feel like hiring someone today. Tell me about yourself. What are you gonna say? Think about that. So once I figure out what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna let you guys know. So with all the job applications that are going in and all the hopeful interviews that I'll have coming up, I'm gonna be working on that. And I think that my anxiety just gets to me. So kind of maybe like practicing them in the mirror every single day. Yeah, it's a little over the top, but that is something that I personally have to do to get my nerves out of the way. So long story short, I got a second interview. Surprising. So I think that he liked me. He's like, I'm going to give you a second chance. You have to learn how to sell yourself. He's like, I could hire you right now on the spot, but the way that we work, he's like, I want to make sure that the people you're going to be working with feel like you will fit right in with the team. And he's like, that's something that's really important, not only in our healthcare system, not only in our hospital, but in the emergency room especially. So I am going to work on that after all of my homework. So I'll probably do that tomorrow. I have my med math exam at 7 a.m. tomorrow. And then we have orientation. And then we have our skills lab where we will be practicing for the checkoffs that we have learned throughout nursing school. Next week, we will draw out of a hat. I can't even talk, I'm so tired. We will draw out of a hat 3 random skills checkoffs, and we'll have to do them. We only get 2 chances, so you'll get 1 retake. After that retake, you have to wait till next term to take the class again, so I need to practice for that. So this term will definitely be interesting. I will be getting more videos up for you guys. I'm sorry that, it's not cute, it's not pretty. My whole entire apartment's a mess, and I'm not in this cute setup background, but I think that experiences like this are really important for people to, I think it's really important for other nursing students to hear about, especially because I first walked into that convention center. I was like, wow, these are all Ken and Barbies. They all look like they are made for this. How do I get that confidence? So when I find that confidence, I will share it with you guys because deep down, you know exactly what you're doing. You know what you're passionate about. It's putting it into words that is the hardest part, because I think that we are so focused on caring for others and putting others first that we don't even take the time to stop and think about ourselves and what actually drives us to do this. Like, we wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't something deep down driving us to do it. But I think I've just gotten so lost in the fog that I have no idea, or I can't express it yet. But we'll get there. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for putting up with my rambling. But this term is going to be an adventure, and I'm so excited to share with you guys all of it. School, nursing interviews, my botched answers, and everything from there. But let me know what you guys want to see next if you have any ideas. I'm hoping my next video I'll be able to roll out by the end of this week or over the weekend, about working on my nursing interview answers, my nursing interview answers. But anyways, I am going to do some NCLEX practice questions, take all of this makeup off my face because it's already falling off, and my face doesn't handle makeup well, so there's already a pimple. But anyways, I'm going to take this makeup off, do some NCLEX questions, and go to bed. Get ready to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you for watching. See you soon.